Hello, thanks for being in a brand new video. This time I have an unboxing of the OPPO Find N3 Flip. Let's get started. Remember that this Find N3 series has two members. The Find N3 without the Flip name, which is a horizontal folding. And in this case, the Flip Edition, which is a vertical folding. And here we have the device. The first thing that strikes me is that the fold area is virtually unnoticeable, unlike other foldables. It's not that it's completely unnoticeable, but it's very well concealed. Remember that it also brings the new alert slider with 3 positions to place the device in vibration or silent. It also has an innovative photographic system that we had not seen so far in a vertical folding device, as it offers main camera, ultra-wide camera, and telephoto camera, correcting a very weak point of virtually all folding devices of this format. But let me see what else comes in the box before we continue taking a look at the phone. For starters, we have OPPO's SuperVOOC charger, 67 watts of power, so it's going to charge considerably fast. And in fact, right out of the box, we're realizing that OPPO's proposition could become much more attractive in the sense that it does include a charger compared to Samsung, which doesn't include this important accessory. Plus, it's a faster charger than the one Samsung manages. But let's continue to see what else comes here. Surprisingly, we also include a case which comes in handy because it is not only a simple plastic or silicone case, but it is a case with a soft touch. Really very nice. And on the inside we have a textured area. This is what it would look like with the case on. The truth is that it looks great because it doesn't lose the style that the phone already has. As you can see, it is a very similar color, and even I like to have this matte effect and not the shiny effect that the glass has. Although it depends on taste, but personally I really like how it looks with the case on, and that is very rare. Generally, all cell phones, when you put the case on, have a very ugly look, but this one actually still looks quite nice. In this case, I didn't remove the stickers yet, because I think I'll first decide if I'm going to use it with a case or without a case. Most of the folding ones have this detail that their covers must have this adhesive to prevent them from coming off so easily. Although it is not mandatory that you remove this tape, so if it bothers you, you can simply cut these protruding parts and you can continue using it perfectly. So we continue with the good news, because in addition to the fact that it includes charger, it also includes a case and with a nice design. But let's see what else is here. For starters, it comes with a QR code where they show us the instructions for use, because it's important to note these 2 warnings. For starters, it says that you should not remove the exclusive screen protector. Pay close attention to that, because it has to do with the durability of your device. In this case, the truth is that this protector that comes attached to the screen is not very noticeable. But if you get curious, you should not take it off, unlike traditional devices, because being a folding device has a special mica. It also says not to press on the hinge area of the screen with a hard object. And is that note that when folding the device, obviously this area can sink a little more, which is completely normal for the mechanism that has to fold and unfold. So be careful not to press too much here. Obviously normal pressures with your finger will not affect it, but be careful maybe with sharper objects like your fingernail or some other object. Basically, that's all the care that this paper points out. Then comes a little quick guide. I guess it will just be simple information, and some other papers besides the tool to remove the tray. I forgot to show you that on the back there is another QR code where it says that you have a premium service. Obviously, being one of OPPO's most premium devices, they are going to try to give you the best they can. So that's all that comes through here. Let's put it away and we'll continue to look at the contents of the box. Finally, it's going to be the cable that comes from USB-A to USB-C. It's a cable that's thicker than normal. This is to support all the current that will be transmitted through the SuperVOOC charger. So it is important that you use the original cable when you want to charge it as fast as possible. It does not have any special color highlighting inside the connectors to distinguish it more easily, but to the touch you immediately realize that this is the original cable. It does not have such an exaggerated length, so in this sense the experience will be normal, and that's all that comes in the box. Now let me put all this away and we'll take a closer look at the phone. And here I have the device already set up so that we can get to know its main specifications. Let's start with the dimensions, because it weighs in at 198 grams, so it ranks as a considerably lightweight device. Obviously it's not the lightest in the industry or anything like that, but it's pretty good considering it has 3 good cameras. Its thickness when it's closed is 16.45 millimeters, and when it's open it's 7.79. The screen is 6.8 inches in its diagonal with full HD plus resolution and with 120 Hz in its refresh rate, but it's a variable refresh rate, so it can go down significantly in order to save power. So it's a very good display really. Being a foldable display, mandatorily it has to be an OLED panel, so it gives us very good color, very good contrast, very good brightness. It goes up to a peak of 1600 nits when it's displaying HDR content. And that's because the display has this Pro XDR technology that looks at how it makes pictures look different. When this option is enabled, the areas with more brightness are intensified more to elevate the details and give a much more realistic display. Honestly, that in real life this looks excellent. I don't know if through the camera it manages to convey that same feeling, but it's definitely very good. On the other hand, the external display is 3.26 inches in its diagonal. We have a resolution SD 720 by 382 pixels. Personally, I would like it better if this screen was on the right side and not on the left side, because I feel that every time you hold the device with your right hand, you have to do an additional action to reach this screen. Also, with your hand you end up smudging the camera module. So, it's quite a strange feeling. Although obviously you can also rotate the cell phone and use it in this format. And if you have rotation enabled, yes, it will rotate so you can use it more easily here. But if after you do some action you want to open the device, you're going to end up opening it down and you have to rotate it again. So it seems to me that this proposal could still be improved. But definitely that this external screen offers us very good features, as it does allow us to open various applications. In the video review, I'm going to tell you a lot more details about how this external display works, but definitely that it's quite attractive. Although this screen is 60 Hz, so it's a little bit simpler compared to the internal screen, it also doesn't have as high a brightness level as the internal display, as in this case it goes up to 900 nits at its highest peak. The good news is that it comes protected with Gorilla Glass Victus, so I think it comes with good resistance, but just as I was anticipating you, I think the most attractive thing about this foldable is its cameras. For starters, we have a 32 megapixel front camera with f2.4 aperture. I think this camera is good, but not the most attractive thing. The most attractive thing will be the Hasselblad photographic system, which has a 50 megapixel main camera with f1.8 aperture. It has optical stabilization. Then we have a 32 megapixel telephoto camera with f2.0 aperture, so it also has good light entry. And finally, we have a 48 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera with f2.2 aperture. However, this ultra-wide camera also has autofocus support, so at the same time it acts as a macro camera. So we have main, ultra-wide, telephoto and macro. But let's take a first impression look at the pictures. Before taking a picture with the front camera, it doesn't look optimized, this preview, but after taking the picture it balances highlights and shadows well. And also with the front camera, this XDR option is enabled so you can project with more illumination the area that was with the sun. The front camera offers 2 aperture levels and works well. The main camera has a high resolution mode, and the truth is that the full resolution of that 50 megapixel sensor does seem to be taken advantage of, giving you the ability to get pretty close after taking this picture. Interestingly, the ultra-wide camera also has a high resolution mode because it is 48 megapixels, although it doesn't look as spectacular in terms of level of detail compared to the main camera. But it is striking that it also has high resolution sensor, and the telephoto also has high resolution sensor, although in this case it's 32 megapixels, so it's not as much as the other lenses, but anyway, it also has a good level of detail. But just as I anticipated you, the zoom is the most attractive thing about this device specifically, especially since its biggest competitor doesn't have a telephoto lens. So notice how here we have the photograph at 1x, then 2x, where we already find optical quality and it looks very good. Then we have photography with 5x, 10x, and the truth is that at 10x the quality looks pretty good. And finally we have up to 20x digital zoom, although here it no longer retains the XDR photography feature, but either way you see a very good level of detail in this 20x zoom. The last generation also supported a maximum 20x zoom, but please note how the level of detail has improved in a very important way. I don't know if through the camera you can notice these details, but I'm going to try to apply more zoom so you can see how the last generation had a lot of noise and little definition, while in this new generation we have a super well-defined picture with good colors as well. So in general, I could tell you that the zoom of this device, for being a vertical folding device, is very good. It is also capable of recording video in 4K, and this with any of the 3 lenses, so I also like it, and in Full HD at 60 frames per second also with the 3 lenses. The device has 256 gigabytes of storage, although you just take it out of the box. If you update the applications and more, we have just over 30 gigabytes already used, so it is a device that does have a very good percentage of storage already used by the system. Although you also have to remember that it is a device that brings several functions to take advantage of the type of device that it is. For example, when you fold it, notice how the view adapts perfectly. Then we will also find interesting options of this style, such as allowing the preview on the external screen so that people who are behind can see how they are coming out in the photo or video. And even the fact of having all these features on the external screen obviously also uses internal space with the entire system. In the review, I'm going to tell you everything you can do with this device to take advantage of the software. The battery is 4300 milliamps, which is not a very large capacity, but because it is a vertical folding, we are also in front of a good battery and above all accompanied by a good charge. It also has side fingerprint reader and comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Now it only remains to test the power of the processor, and for that we are going to use Geekbench. It is the MediaTek Dimensity 9200, a considerably good processor, but let's wait to see what the score it can give us. Here are the results: 1125 on single core and 3147 on multi-core. Definitely that it is a fairly powerful processor, although in the review we will test it with various tasks such as opening applications, exporting a video, and especially games where MediaTek processors tend to falter slightly. But all those details I will tell you in the video review, since for now we have reached the end of this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, you know you can point it out. And before I finish, let me show you the black or a dark gray edition, which is also fully reflective, just like this model. So, just to give you a look at the design you have in this option. It's time to say goodbye. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you know you can tell us, and we'll see you next time.